Thailand and the Netherlands are here. Wonderful.
Wow.
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 Welcome, Marlon in Thailand. Welcome, Dorette in the Netherlands.
Hi,
Where have you
good
been,
morning.
Marlon? I haven't seen you for a couple of days.
Oh, Tuesday. What was I doing Tuesday?
Have you been sober companioning around the world?
No, I had a really bad skin infection, because I remember you
Oh,
were doing a course that you invited people to in London, which I
yeah.
missed that
Marlon,
week,
I
and
haven't
then
seen you for.
and then I had staph infection, so I had all impetigo all over my face and boils on my stomach and crazy stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
charming.
yeah, really weird. It looked like I'd been on yabba yabba or something.
You've been on the meth and putting out your skin all night.
Yeah, injected it into my temple.
Oh, how disgusting.
Mm.
Don't shame
Right,
people.
right. Let's go. Who's going to read the pre-recording today, Daniel?
Okay, I'm waiting. Before we begin recording, I want to make sure everyone is aware and comfortable. This session is being streamed and recorded as part of a UAC LERO's mission to build recovery capital and challenge stigma. Your personal safety and comfort come first. If at any time you would like your contribution or the video recording deleted, just say so and we remove it without question. And please remember, take personal responsibility for what you share. This is an adult learning environment, not therapy, mutual aid, or faith-based organisation. If you're happy to proceed, please give a verbal yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
there you go.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Here comes Joni. Right. Dorette, would you like to build the container?
Sure. Good morning, all. I'm checking in. Yeah, a bit busy. I had a very busy week. A lot of things happening, but take my time for these 2 hours and looking forward to it. And I tag Daniel.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I don't know what I've been doing. I've got a new job. I think you might know that. I'm supposed to be escorting someone going to be sat here. He's coming to sample the meeting, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again. Cheers. I'm going to tag Marcus.
Yeah. Hey everyone, Marcus. Checking in grounded today. This is my second meeting, so yeah, just excited to see where it brings. Good to see everyone. And I will tag Olivia.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm feeling refreshed. Just back from a dog walk, so I feel all energized and ready to go. I check in Marlon.
Guys. Yeah, I'm feeling very grateful. I'm I've come to see a friend I met in a meeting about 2 years ago, and he's brought me away for my birthday that was in January. And I had really severe toothache last night, and I've been putting off going to the dentist because I've got a hole in my tooth, and he booked me an appointment and got some. I'm glad I went to go and sort it out, but I've got some really bad news. I've got to have two root canals, so I'm heavily dosed with antibiotics because I've got inflammation or whatever, however you pronounce it. But I'm grateful I'm alive and kicking. I can come on here and connect with you guys. I'll pass to Ballet.
Hi everyone. I'm feeling good. A bit tired. It's been a bit of a long week. Just with stuff that I have on with my son and taking him to all his football stuff, and that's going to carry on for the next few days. So I'm just feeling a bit tired. I don't know how he does it, to be honest with you. I just drive him. But no, this is my first session, so sort of excited to be here, happy to be here, and looking forward to kind of spending some time here. And I'll tag Andrew.
Hi everyone. checking in is relaxed this week. Last week was a bit more hectic for me, so with work and bits, but this week's been a lot calmer, so I'm thankful for that. And I will tag Joni.
Hi, thank you, Andrew. Good morning, everybody. Actually, it's good afternoon in South Africa. I'm excited, and I'm really, I think it's a privilege to be here. So thank you very much. Oh, and for some reason, I can't see on my phone who needs to be tagged. I can't see anybody else who needs to be tagged.
Me, I think.
See, is that David? I can't even see
I think
you
so.
here.
I think it's David.
Okay, so David, I tag you.
Thanks. It's a constant journey trying to work out who I am and
Maybe it's
what's
going
it
to be
all.
tagged.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Have you tagged Olivia?
Did Olivia go? Yeah?
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. 1 second. Dorrit, you held the container last week, didn't you? Because I remember at the same time last week I had to go 1 second, hold it. So just let's just give me 1 second.
Okay. We've all checked in. Does anyone has a point for the agenda? Is there something you want to discuss? Or perhaps David has a good agenda to fill.
Great. Thank you, Dorrit. Okay. So Marcus, welcome. I had a lovely chat with you yesterday. First met Marcus on Tuesday at the Community of Practice meeting. And then he asked a wonderful question yesterday on our new school platform, which we interacted with yesterday. I made a little video around where coaching sits in relation to the Collins window. Yeah, and the Collins window is just basically like a window that you look through when you're working with a client. So it's a start of a systemic approach to an environment that's in adversity or addiction, and how to start to shift that environment to a culture of resilience or a culture of recovery. Yeah, so I thought we'd talk today about we'd go a bit deeper in that, but just to kind of place everyone where they are. So Bally, this will be your first session of 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first 4, you need to kind of get to grips with what the coaching conversation is, how to have the coaching conversation. So we start with the 3 C's: check in, contract, create the container. We've done that now. We then look for an agenda. So Dorrit asks for an agenda, and then we start to ask questions, and then we listen at levels 1, 2, and 3. And what we're listening for is needs, values, wants to get to a place of purpose. And then there's action, and then accountability. Yeah. So because we always want the coaching conversation to move somebody forward. Yep. So ethically, it needs to sit in the place of wellness, and we're here to move forward. Yep. So that'll be the first 4 weeks. Then the next 4 weeks will be about the continuums. Yep. So a continuum is like going from A to Z, but to get from A to Z, you got B, C, D, E, F, G. And sometimes to go from A to Z can seem too big, but to go from A to B is easier. Yep. And because we're working with people that are in adverse situations, we need to think, are they moving to a place of high well-being or harm reduction? Yep. Or are they moving towards premature death? So we often meet people on the kind of the front line, then we need to make a call and just see, is this person moving forward or are they moving backward? Yeah. Um, and there are some other continuums that we'll go to, and then we'll talk about the system. Yep. So one person's behavior can impact the system, and the system is often made up of the person that's got the condition, whatever it is, or the behavior, and then that impacts a family, and it impacts a workplace, or impacts a community. And if you can identify the person you're working within the system, you can start to shift the system to move towards a culture of recovery or resilience. Yeah. So, for example, Dorette is a family member, and she's here as a family member that's being impacted by somebody else's behavior, and she's here for her own recovery. And as part of her own recovery, she's learning about the skill of recovery coaching and how to take her lived experience and show up as a professional. Yep. And then the last 4 weeks is building the container. Yep. So how do you check in with someone? How do you check in with an individual? Check in with a family, check in with a team, whatever, to create a learning environment. And that's what we do. So Daniel has completed the training. Yep. He's working at Kennedy Street in Brighton, which is a lived experienced organization. And Daniel, you want to tell us a bit about your organization?
Yeah, we're a tiny little charity. We've got a little hub, which is like a little cafe and just a little space where we have meetings and things. We're abstinence based. So we don't do harm reduction, but obviously we work with people when they first come in and try and if it's decide whether they want to try abstinence and we'll help them towards that. And everyone here has got lived experience, and we do food. We teach people to cook. We run little meetings. We rent the place out in the evenings as well, and the weekends to fellowship. So we've got a cheap space. And yeah, it's a really really nice. It's a really lovely place, and we try and uh, invite people to come every day if they need to, uh, and go from there. And this is Ben, who's thinking about joining us.
Good morning.
Hello, Ben. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
How are you checking in? Do you know what a check-in is?
I do. Yeah, I'm having a good morning so far. I've come to cook some lovely food for the volunteers and the clients down here at the Recovery Hub. I'm doing a chair later on as part of CA, so I'm a bit, getting the pre-chair wobbles, but that's fine. I did one last night and it went perfectly well, so I've got nothing to worry about.
Is that a bit like waiting for your dealer and you know you're going to score and you get the physical like, oh, I think I need a shit.
It's kind of like that, except I know that the outcome's going to be positive rather than negative, so it's not quite as bad.
Okay, great. Thank you. And it's Ben, yes?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right, I'm just going to put your name there because I'm terrible with names. So Daniel and okay, welcome. All right. So this is an adult learning environment. Yep. So this isn't therapy. Yep. And it's not a fellowship, and it's a place to learn about recovery coaching and how you can take your lived experience and turn that into a professional role. Yep. So some people are being paid here for their lived experience. Yep. So I'm assuming Andrew and Bally are both paid in their organization for their role, where their organization values their lived experience to improve the outcomes of the organization. So, Andrew, do you want to tell us a bit about your organization?
Yeah, so Epic Restart Foundation. we've got lived experience in gambling harm. Myself and Valley both work for Epic, and we look to help rebuild lives after gambling harm. So not so much to getting them to stop. They should hopefully have been through that stage of stopping and just looking to repair their lives, basically, and the traits they might have neglected during a time of addiction. And yeah, I've been through the program myself, and so some of the other coaches as well. A majority lived experience based. We've got a few operational, non-lived experience members, but yeah, the focus is on the lived experience recovery.
Cool. All right. So, what's the feeling in the container at the moment? Is it just my anxiety, or is it a bit fucking serious? Huh? Is it okay? So when I swear a bit, that changes the energy a bit in the room. Yeah. And the reason I want to kind of stress that it's really important to meet people where they're at. So Kennedy Street and Epic are both organizations where people are abstinent, or that's not really the primary
We've got a swear
problem
box, actually.
Pardon?
We've got a swear jar.
You've got a swear jar. Yeah.
Well, we had one particular client who needed it.
Yeah, well, I think I'd need it too. All right. Okay. So Marlon, tell us a bit about yourself. Just introduce yourself to, you've been here, this is your fourth time now, yeah?
Yes, it is. Yeah, my fourth time. What do you want to know, David? What experience or where I'm currently at?
Well, I'd like to know what you've learned about coaching, actually.
Okay. Well, number one is like learn about the container, bringing stuff and leaving stuff behind, which is I've actually been active listening as well, which I've sort of heard about before, but and some of the other stuff that we spoke about boundaries. Again, I've always known about boundaries, but actually implementing them is a different story. But it's at the top of my mind now. Um, the check-in, yeah, I mean, I can't right think on the spot, but check-in, boundaries, container, bringing stuff to the container and then leaving stuff in the container. These are all stuff that's at the top of my mind and that I've actually been putting into action by
Wonderful.
volunteering at the treatment centre.
So you're in a volunteer role at a treatment facility. This is your fourth class, and you've already got a bit of understanding of what the coaching conversation is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So just for my perspective, I'm thinking, okay, so Marlon's moving along a continuum. He's kind of getting this stuff.
Recovery Capital, actually, I did a relapse. I did a share in a relapse prevention group the other day, and actually, I was speaking a lot about Recovery Capital, which I've been in recovery for about. I first came in about 6.5, 7 years ago, and I'd never heard Recovery Capital once. And it's starting to like this is part of my Recovery Capital now, coming on here and extending my learning, my education within recovery and addiction, like coming on here and I saw that you'd sent an email through about another course that's about where coaches can come in. So it's like it seems like I've got like a lot of longevity within this field. Always learning. There's always stuff that I can learn and keep me a part of it, which is extremely helpful.
Okay, and could you define what the term recovery capital is?
Yeah, so it's like a saving, like a financial savings account. I suppose it's like what recovery capital is for me. It's my big support network of like fellowship. For instance, my recovery capital consists of 12-step meetings, sponsees, running community, part of a Muay Thai, part of a paddle community, and yoga, breath work. The list goes on. It's like the amount of stuff that I'm taking part in is probably, one would say, it's a bit too much, but It's better than what I was doing before.
Oh,
And I've
good
got
for you. So
like-minded
that's
people.
all external recovery capital.
Yes.
Yeah. Then internal recovery capital is?
My internal recovery capital, I suppose for my internal ones, like therapy,
Okay.
and well, 12-step fellowship, really. I don't.
So what I would say internal recovery capital is the desire to want to do something. Yep. So I might have a lot of internal recovery capital to better myself in a career and to get a job and increase my finances, but externally there are no job opportunities for me. Yeah, so particularly in the South African context, people will come into treatment and they'll do very well in treatment, but when they go back to their environments, there's no job, there's a lot of poverty, and that external pressure because of the environment people find themselves in leads back to a life of adversity and substance use. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And sometimes fellowships can be a recovery capital liability. Yep, some people really don't like that stuff. Yeah, so some people can be quite adverse to 12-step stuff. Some people can be quite adverse to the faiths, Christian-based stuff that is a strong part of Kennedy Street. Yep. So as a recovery coach, and you're working with someone and you're hearing their story and what their experience is, it's good for you to know what recovery capital resources are available in your area, so you can so you're just kind of aware of that. Yeah. All right. So you're able to go to the dentist.
Yeah, I had an X-ray today. It's not
Yeah,
straightforward
great.
speaking to Thai doctors. They like to send you here, there, and everywhere. So I have to go to Bangkok Hospital to have this treatment, which is I've got to process it because it's financially, I'm not in the best financial position.
Do you notice how your voice has dropped? It's like, oh fuck, I got to sort my teeth out, and it's
Yeah,
impacting my
I keep
finances.
I keep putting it to one side and keep,
Yeah.
like I'm still old patterns and old behaviors like, oh yeah, it'll be all right because it's all right for a bit. And then when it kicks off, it's the
Oh,
second time it's kicked off. And I mean, I was at my friend's, I felt like it took me back to being a child again last night. I'm staying with my friend who's a 60-year-old bloke. We went to bed at 9:30 and it kicked in and I was walking around his house thinking I'm just going to find an ibuprofen on the side and kept walking towards his door to knock on it, but didn't want to wake him up because he's an old fella. And I thought, I'll leave him to it. Last thing he wants is me like, have you got any tablets? And he'd be like, you little baby, why have you not prepared for this? Because he's like that. So I just managed, I did a bit of breath work, fell to sleep, and then he booked me an appointment this morning. But
okay.
again, it's not straightforward.
All right, so that's a great story to build on. Like having dental work can certainly impact people's self-esteem. Would you agree? Yeah, and being in pain can certainly impact people's desire to use. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the pain you were going through, Marlon, and the embarrassment that you put yourself through. It's like, oh, I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to knock on the door. I don't want to ask for help. How many people do you think are like that out there at the moment? They kind of know they're in trouble, but they don't know how to get it, or
Ask
they're
for help.
worried about the way that they're going to be received if people come. And that's a common human thing, huh? Yeah. Marcus, you want to come in here, please? I'm asking so many yes, no questions today. It's terrible. I'm meant to be doing open questions. But it's like, do you want to come in? Do you want to it doesn't really give.
I'm
Bring
not
your
sure.
wisdom, Marcus. Bring your wisdom. Bring your experience.
I'm not sure what to bring to this part. But I guess I'm here for myself to take that experience and turn it into a mechanism that can help people through an organization. So, um, yeah, basically, I want to build an organization that stops the barriers that prevent people from accessing support, mainly from a complex needs background. So,
What's the name of your organization?
so I haven't quite got that yet. I've got two names. It's either the
Oh,
Mindful
great.
Mission or
Hey,
or the Rooted Collective. So
the,
I'm specifically looking at a client base that is not just a one and done sort of scenario. It's someone that's been bounced around the system, may have been to prison, in the mental health system, homeless, struggling or sanctioned on benefits. So it's really trying to clear up what the local authorities aren't able to do, and they don't have the headspace or the manpower to do. So the strap line is kind of rooted, not booted. So I don't know if anyone else resonates with being bounced around the system. As you were saying, Marlon, you've been sent from pillar to post just to get, one outcome. So I hope to find a collective of people that can stop that, and can address that with the organizations themselves through advocating on behalf of people that aren't able to. So really, I'm looking to support as an organization, support, advocate, innovate, and then where that's not possible, demand through making contact with MPs, working with certain focus groups and things like that. So I'm already doing a lot of that. I've worked with a variety of different organizations from the police right through to the NHS and local homelessness services. So, and that's all come out of my journey with addiction and mental health. So yeah, I did 10 years in retail and I could just see the damage that the corporate world was causing the world. These big companies, they take a lot of money out of a local area and they may donate to charity if you're lucky. And even then it's only a handful of charities. So it's about recognizing the amount of capital that's being taken out of a community, and trying to foster a more self-sustaining ecosystem in the local area. And that happens
wonderful.
through rooting people.
So let me just pause you there for a second, if that's all right. Another yes, no question. God, I'm getting it all wrong today. What values do you think are important to Marcus? I'm asking the container, Marcus. I want to know if they were listening to you.
Fairness.
And yeah, say that.
Fairness.
Fairness. Okay, what else?
Accessibility.
Accessibility. Say a bit more about that.
Well, if there's people who are who are having the barriers of getting access to the services, I suppose he wants to make sure that there is that pathway for people to be able to do it easily.
Okay. What else?
Compassion.
Compassion. Okay.
Commitment.
Commitment. Ben, let's throw you in the right in the deep end.
Well, I said about like removing the kind of stigma about people trying to access help. So I think it's it's judgment, removal of judgment, and
So being non-judgmental.
that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, David.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Andrew, I'm coming to you all, so prepare yourselves.
The empathy's there in regards to just wanting to help and make sure other people get the support.
Okay, Marlon, did you go, Marlon?
Being,
Oh,
if I'm honest, I was like half switched off, but I know about the wanting to know where the finances are going these big companies. So I suppose like wanting someone to be accountable for the money that should be going to the right place.
Okay. So fair distribution of wealth as opposed to sucking people dry. Dorette?
I have to apologize for not understanding everything. I have a little bit of problem with my loudness, but from what I understand, he wants to uh, uh, be easy accessible for people in the area.
Okay. Welcoming.
Yeah.
Okay. Joni?
I said commitment, but I actually want to change that to financial accountability.
Okay. Olivia?
Opening doors for people that don't know where they're going,
Okay.
and kind of being thrown all around the place. So he's kind of making a gap for them people.
Yeah. So he wants to bring everyone along.
Yeah, like connection,
Yeah.
more connection.
All right.
Referral pathway, I suppose.
Okay. So Marcus, did any of that resonate with you?
Yeah, massively.
Okay.
Especially accountability. I think the system is designed to, well, not designed, the system just confuses people. There's so many different departments and papers, and so it's about having someone in place that can understand and deconstruct all of that, because you can't do that when you're in crisis. That's the last thing you can turn your brain to. So it's about putting someone in place that can do that whilst they're experiencing what they're experiencing.
So accountability and clarity, would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
All right. So you want to build an organization, yeah, called Rooted and Booted, or Rooted Not Booted.
So it's the Rooted Collective, but the main aim is to stop people being booted. So that's the strap line.
Okay, great. Okay, so you've got a name, and two of the things in that organization are accountability and clarity.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what do you need? What's your next step to go off and develop this organization?
The know-how to sort of step into the business side of things. So starting the charity, the legal structures that have to go in place, this, developing policies, all of those kind of things. Because I think I have enough lived experience. Just I already work with people at the moment, so it's about just putting that under something a bit more official.
So where are you going to go and find those things out?
A handful of things. The internet's asking people like yourselves who have already started that part of the journey. And yeah, just communicating with people, really. And then obviously researching the website, the local government website, and seeing how I need to sort of fall in line with certain procedures.
Okay. So
And then find some confidence somewhere along the way and courage to just make that jump into that side of things.
All right. So just one of the things of listening is self-management. And I so want to jump in and say, well, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I'm holding back from that because to coach someone, you don't have the answers. You can support that person to find the answers. Does that make sense to everyone? Moving to a place of mentorship or consulting, you're going down the road of this is my experience, this is what needs to happen. And consulting will say, well, you can do this, 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 and it has. But in the coaching space, you're trying to get the coachee to do the work. Yeah. So then I asked, where are you going to find out the answers to this? And then he said, well, the internet, government websites and all that. So my next question would be, and it's an assumption that he's already got access to the internet because he's here online. Yeah. But I want to stress the point because some people don't have the resources to get to the internet. So, for example, in Africa, things like access to the internet, data, things like that, those resources aren't available. Yeah, but here in first world countries, they are pretty available, local libraries, whatever. Yeah, but people don't use them. Okay, so Marcus, let's go to the container. Yep, and let's see if there's any skills in the container that can support you in the development of this LERO.
I think we want to. It seems like I think he's got two things going on there, like the business side and stuff. But when he was saying about the prisoners and different aspects and stuff, so we run a thing on Mondays called dual diagnosis, and that's one of our. I think that's one of our most successful things because just because people have got a lot more problems than just the drugs and the alcohol, and just giving them that space to talk about that. That's a really good tool we find within when you're trying to help people from when they've got all various conditions going on, mental health issues, and they've just got out of prison, things like that. Maybe that's something that we do.
So at your hub, you have something specific for dual diagnosis.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And that's very yeah. There's very,
Awaiting you. My nan's here. Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me.
thanks,
No,
Nancy.
that's fine. All right. So let's just go to Olivia quickly. Olivia, you're wanting to start a LERO,
Yeah, I think so.
but you also went for a job the other day.
Yeah, but then it conflicted with my son and having my son, so I couldn't take it up.
All right. So if I can just pause there. So there's a conflict between two roles. One, I want to get out and do a career, and the other thing is I want to be a mum and repair my relationship with my son. Yep. So there are two things going on there. So I can't take a permanent job. So how can I be a mum and develop my career?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going, Olivia.
I've just completed my level 3 in counselling. So I'm
I'm
looking
sorry.
into I'm looking to see to do my level 4 with some work for my and then be with my son. So I've got 3 different things that I kind of don't know which road to take, and then I've got the LERO as well. So I'm kind of just learning everything that I can, and I'll have to sit down and just make a decision about what's going to happen for the future.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm just torn by everything because of my son.
So I just want to I've been a bit hooked, yeah, or activated, and it was when you said I've just completed my level 3 as a counselor. I'm looking to do my level 4. Yep, there's a big thing, particularly here in the UK, where it seems to be very structured. You need to do this before you can get to that, to this
Yeah.
level, that level. And then what happens is you get people that say, and Tia, my girlfriend's currently doing this. She's going through to be a counselor, and so she'll then identify her. I'm a counselor and a coach.
Yeah.
And then you get role confusion, because particularly what happens here in the UK, as far as I can see, when people go and become counselors, they're trained in a way that sits within the NHS or treatment type framework.
Yeah.
So things like safeguarding, there's a whole lot of things, and that takes away
Yeah.
from the agency of the individual being well, and
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. It has its place.
Yeah.
But when you're counseling someone, essentially, and people will argue about this at times, but essentially they're in a place of like, I've got to go and see a counselor for help.
Yeah.
Yep. Whereas when people go to, like, I'm going to a coach, the coach is there to fucking kick your ass and get you
Yeah.
better than you already are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just because I know Joni's struggling with this a bit as well, Joni. Yep, Joni's had 46 years of being a therapist. Now to kind of operate in a different space, there's quite a bit of unlearning that Joni needs to do.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's the same for people that have been in the sponsor space. Yep. To kind of unlearn that stuff of people being powerless, for example. Does that make sense? And
Yeah. I think because I'm in the rooms and I do smart training for others as well, and I'm on here, I think that if I do the counselling, I still want to be very much involved in person-centered, trauma-informed counselling, which will kind of help, I think. I don't know. It will
yeah,
do.
yeah, no, Olivia, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
let
I
us think
understand.
about the window. Yep. And I don't want people with lived experience to think that they have to go and, do this
Become this.
counseling
Yeah.
stuff. Because I think in the UK in particular, lots of people with lived experience that have kind of come from a 12-step environment have gone off and done the counseling and the BHCP and that path, the NHS stuff. And I think that is very
Yeah.
foundational there. We're trying to create something different.
Yeah.
Like what Marcus was saying with rooted, not booted.
Mm.
Yep, it's like this is for the people that have fallen through the gaps. And one of the challenges with people with lived experience is people will always say there's no boundaries, they're not boundarized, it's chaos, da, 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 da. And I just really want to challenge that. Hello, who's joined us?
Andrea,
Hello, Andrea, where are you from?
I'm in London. I live in London, yeah.
Welcome. Have
Thank
you
you.
been to one of these classes before?
No, but
Oh, okay.
I've been on your list following it for weeks. I just haven't had a lot of time lately, so this is the first spot I've had.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um,
Or
um,
not?
yeah, I mean, what can I say? I came from the AIDS crisis and did a lot of counselling work back in the day, and then burnt out, used again, became a grassroots activist, have done shed loads of that, and I'm a mother and getting back to work. That's it, really, I think.
Wonderful. What a wonderful open, just put it out there. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, come and hang out a bit. Be a nice person and then it'll be good. Okay. So,
So
Belly, how's your sorry, Olivia, you
I
wanted
was
to
going to
carry on?
say, like, I think what's holding me back with the LERO thing is because I'm very much on my own, and I
Yeah.
would need a lot of help kind of guiding me into that path. If that was something I want, like, that's something that I'm thinking about doing, but it's like being brave enough to actually
Being
kind of
brave.
to do it, just get on with it and do it, you know.
Okay.
So it's that, and like then I've got to think about what Marlon's saying or Marcus is saying about the funding and how does that, like, where does all that kind of happen? You know, that's where I'm a bit stuck as well. It's like I've got ideas, but I don't know what to do with them.
Okay, great. All right. So, Belly, how's the first 45 minutes going for you?
Interesting. Yeah, good. But yeah, so interesting. Obviously, trying to understand references people are making to certain things like the container, the check-in, the contract. But yeah, learning new stuff. I hadn't heard of Recovery Capital before either. But no, so far so good.
Great. Okay. And what kind of learner are you?
I suppose by doing, yeah,
By doing.
yeah.
Yep, me too. Me too. Okay. How are you at reading lots of content and PowerPoint
Not the
presentations?
greatest, not the greatest. I think the way I learn is by writing stuff down,
Okay.
and then by practically doing the stuff. I learn
Great.
more quicker that way. But yeah, in terms of reading content and absorbing that, not the greatest.
Mm.
Me too. Me too. I'm a lot like that. I'm dyslexic. I need to visualize things. I need
Yeah,
to actually do it. I need to make mistakes and then
yeah,
be guided in a much more
yeah,
practical way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And one of the challenges as well, where people learn to be counselors
Hmm.
in the level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes
Mm.
with it.
Hmm.
And a lot of people that come from a lived experience environment really struggle
Hmm.
with that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this training is designed to cater for people like us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to give some uh, context around that, it's that this work was developed in South Africa
Hmm.
that has 11 different official languages. Yep, and 12 if you want to include sign language. And South Africa has a very traumatized population. Yep,
Hmm.
and there's a huge there was a huge HIV. I'm going to say crisis back in the 90s. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the trouble is with a lot of kind of Western-based psychology that's delivered in English, it's very difficult to get these concepts out to people whose English isn't their first language. Yep. So it's Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, and then English. So when you're training people with lived experience, you want to train it in a way that people can take it and translate and deliver in their own language. Yeah. So Dorette, for example, is from the Netherlands here. She's sitting here trying to translate all the English stuff to understand it. And then when it comes to giving feedback, it's like, oh, fuck. Excuse me for my English. So there's an anxiety that comes in before Dorette can even put in her wisdom because
Hmm.
there's a fear of not being good enough around the language. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first symbol we use is headphones. And the idea is you can take a stick and you can draw a symbol in the sand and you can sit in a circle and talk about listening. Yeah. So you create the container, check in contract, build the container. What do you want to talk about? What's the agenda? And then you listen.
Hmm.
And so if people can talk about the headphones,
Hmm.
that's starting to have the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is very important for making recovery inclusive. Because the one thing with addiction, like any other illness, it impacts everyone. Yeah. And when you're sitting in a room with a lot of diversity and you hear the pain that mothers go through around their child's addiction, for example, there's a lot of connection through the pain, which is the same. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
And there's a lot of healing that happens because the loneliness and isolation gets broken. It's like, oh, I'm not the only one. Yeah. So who else in this container struggles with dyslexia or ADD, ADHD, or different types of learning styles? Yeah, Daniel, Marcus, Joni. Okay, cool. All right, welcome. So you're going to be all right here. Yeah, it's the people that are used to, like, well, where are we now? What are we doing? What's today's lesson? What's the outcome? Yeah, we're quite kind of organic. Yeah. Daniel, do you remember when you first came along, how some of your members were struggling with this?
What's something in here? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we used to have another group, didn't we, with 10 people in one box. Not it was well, it was 10 people, two computers. The microphones were always on both computers, there was feedback. It was
it was quite chaotic, huh?
they were all in rehab.
It was chaotic,
And
huh?
they were Irish. Yeah, it was intense. It was intense. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're going to take a break now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll come back at 11 o'clock. So those people that vape and smoke, go for it. Get your coffee and see you back here in a minute.
Could I just say, David, thank you very much. It's been very interesting. I'm going to help facilitate a group at 11, but I'm
Okay, mate.
just sticking my head in to see what goes on, and I think it's been very informative, and I'd definitely like to get involved. So I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Cool.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay.
David,
Mark? Yep. Hey, who was
David, I
that?
can't. It's me, Joni. I won't be able to attend the second half. I've got 3 kids coming for coaching.
Okay, good. How
Yeah.
are you checking
Okay,
out?
thank you. Yeah, I'm checking out, really excited. I want to know more about the Leroy aspects and what people are talking about in terms of starting communities or
Great.
organizations. Yeah, I need to know more about that.
All right. See you next week.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Bye.
Marlon, you got a question or two?
It was just about the after this course is finished. Obviously I was the extended course what I'm wanting to do. It was just off the top of your head, can you remember the price? Because I'm seeing my family on Sunday for the first time in 8 months. They're out in Thailand, so I'm delivering, my speech. So I was just wanting to know, like, and the duration of it.
So which level do you want to go up to?
I
So I
want
would
the
say go up to
I'm
systemic
I'm handing
wellness
it over to
practitioner.
you. I want to be, I'm handing it over to you. What I trust you. So what you suggest that you believe that can benefit. I put my idea and my vision for me is that I want to be a sober companion. That's what I enjoy doing. That was what I loved doing previously.
So then I wouldn't try and sell you more training. I would
Okay.
I would keep with this one, and you've done your 20 weeks and your 40 hours. If you want to just sober companion, great. If you want to then move and work in an organization or something, yep, I would do the systemic wellness practitioner. Yep.
Okay.
And then build up from there. And if people want to go off and do the master's training, that's going to be £5,000. That's going to take 2 years, and there's a whole lot of stuff in there. So that's a
Right.
sober companion, peer recovery coach, systemic wellness practitioner, facilitator of the recovery wellness program, case management, and supervision. Yep. So that's a whole.
So all
There's a
this
lot.
stuff, I get what you're saying, but surely all this stuff is only going to give me a bigger arsenal, you know.
Definitely, but but
Like,
but if you just want to do sober companion work, you don't need to do all of this.
yeah.
So my gut is saying, if you're seeing your family, yep,
Yes.
just talk to them about your current training and what you're doing, yeah,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
then as because I imagine you're wanting to rebuild relationships there,
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So. But I mean, if you want to give us 5 grand, great. I mean, like, like go for it. But like,
Well, my idea, to be fair, David, is I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you need a break, but is I'm really, for the next couple of years, I'm just trying to do things a lot different than before, and and get some more of like a bit more education behind me, something I've never done before. And again, I just want to have like an arsenal to be able to feel, it's going to be a big confidence builder for me. And I'm going to be working within, like, let's say, frontline for treatment centers for the next couple of years before I'm trying to
okay.
build my network up
All
and
right.
just get around.
Here's what I suggest then, yeah, is
Yeah,
you come on to into our professional ecosystem as a professional sober companion. You pay 25 pounds a month on a
yeah.
subscription. You'll get an email, and you'll be set up in a little business within our community, and then we can develop you in that environment, and that'll be quite cost
Okay.
effective for you. And yeah, that so if you want, I would say
How do
do
you mean
that then.
cost effective? What do you mean? What do you
Well,
mean cost effective?
25 pound,
Yeah, yeah,
25 pound a month is a lot more affordable than 5 grand.
yeah.
Yeah,
I suppose. Thank you
and
for thinking of me. I suppose I'll just take it a course at a time anyway. I'm getting
yeah,
a bit excited and a bit ahead of myself, you know. Thinking about doing a yoga course as well.
yeah. No, I
Then,
love your enthusiasm.
yeah,
I really do. But
yeah.
yeah. All right,
All
I'm
right.
just going to make a quick coffee and actually
Thank you
need a
for your time,
pee.
David. Thank
No,
you.
it's a pleasure. Are you here for the second half? Yeah, good. Welcome, Paresh.
Hi. Hi. Good
We're
morning.
just we're just taking a 2 minute break. People are coming back. So
Okay,
there.
great.
Dorette, welcome, Paresh. Talk to Paresh. I'm coming.
Hi, Paresh.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. It's
Yeah.
finally good weather in the Netherlands.
Oh, really? Okay.
The sun
Whereabouts are
is
you based
shining.
in the Netherlands?
Sorry?
Where are you based?
I live near Leiden. Do you know something?
Oh, okay. No. Okay.
Near the coast, near
So you're doing
yeah.
the coaching training. How's it going?
I've been away for I think this is my 17th class, and yeah, I find it very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, great.
It's mostly yeah, talking and listening to each other and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
learn from each other's experience. That's the best way of learning.
100%.
Where are you?
I'm in London.
In
So
London.
I just started just met David about a week or so ago and just joined. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Hello, Paresh. Welcome.
Hey,
It's lovely for you to join us, and you're meeting with your with Leanne today at
1:30 p.m. Yes, till 2.
great. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yep.
Oh, I need to sneeze. Hang on. Thank you. You can bless me now. I've sneezed.
Bless you.
So, thank you, Paresh. All right. So let's do the check-in. As we check in, let's just tell Paresh where we're from. Yeah. All right. So I'm David. I'm a coach here in Battersea, and I'm checking in. Yeah, I'm enjoying this class. I'll tag Marcus.
Yeah, hey, I'm Marcus. I'm based in Redhill down in Surrey, so just outside London. And yeah, it's a really good call. I'm enjoying being part of the community. It's nice to see that there's others trying to work out their path to, what they want to do. So hopefully we can share some knowledge and make it possible for each other. And I will tag Vale.
I missed the opening bit. Are we checking in again, David, or what was the
Yeah,
question?
we just check in. So we're going to do that a lot. We build the container,
Yeah.
we check in, we're going to keep doing lots of that.
Okay. So yeah, just checking in as it's good. It's been a good. Obviously, it's my first session, but I enjoyed that. There was lots of insights that people were giving that I found really useful. But yeah, checking good, and I will tag in Paresh.
Hi everyone. So my name's Paresh. I'm based in London. I've just recently joined the training, coaching. So yeah, it's all relatively new, but enjoying it.
Are you tagging Paresh?
Andrew.
Thanks, Paresh, and welcome to the group. Checking in as enjoying it. I'm based down in Margate, near Margate area, so southeast England. And yeah, just looking forward to the second half and always learning a lot from these groups. And I will tag Olivia.
I'm feeling inquisitive and need to start being brave. That's what I've learned about myself. Put the action in. Yeah, so I tag in. Is it Andrea?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Andrew. I'm in London. I'm actually in Yorkshire at the moment, but I'm usually in London, northwest London. I'm just checking this out because it's been in my inbox for about 6 weeks at least, and I mean honestly, I'm not sure whether I have the. I'm old now. I'm like retirement age almost, so there's a bit of
How old? How old are you?
65 and a half.
65, and I'm going to be 60 next month,
There you
and
go. See, I'm
and I
even older
still
than the
feel
teacher.
like fuck. When am I going to grow up?
Oh, that's another story, of course. I mean, I'll always feel that maybe, but yeah. Then I mean, I'm busy. I mean, I'm when I say I'm a political activist, I'm really in there and I'm busy. So, but I've just felt for a long time that maybe, or at least lots of people, including my sponsor who died 15 months ago, were like, when are you going to do something that's all about your own development rather than the rest of the world's? Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is that I became a AIDS widow in 1995, so that's literally next month. It will be 31 years, and that coloured my whole life, you know. And I spent anyway. I'll stop there. I think that's enough. You know, it just meant that my involvement in the 12-step movement and all that stuff was checkered. You know, because I wanted to reduce harm rather than coerce everybody into abstinence.
Great. Well, welcome. Good. Good. Who are you taking, Andrea? Who hasn't been?
Okay, direct. Oh no, have you been?
Who hasn't been?
I haven't been. I'm checking in from the Netherlands, and I'm checking in. Okay, it's been very interesting, these classes, so I love them. And I tag Marlon, I guess.
Yeah, I'm Marlon. I am from the UK, but currently living in Thailand and traveling through Thailand to see family. I'm fairly new to the sessions, but I am it's really helping me grow my personal recovery and opening my eyes to what I vision myself to be doing in the near future.
Great. Who are you taking? Marcus, have you been?
I tag Marcus. Thanks, David.
I've been. I think it's just you to check in, David.
Okay. What happened to the Brighton guys? Did they all check out?
He were taking a session or something, he said.
Daniel didn't say.
Yeah. Daniel just dumped us.
Yeah. Doesn't need us anymore, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, he's met all the hour requirements, but he just dropped in to bring someone else. So I check in. What have I got? I've got excitement and anxiety, because there's a lot of new faces here, and so I have appreciation for that as well, that people are coming. And one of the things we spoke about was, well, you do the coaching conversation, then you got the continuums, and what one of the continuums is abstinence, and then harm reduction, and then addiction. Yep, and I really liked what Andrea said. Is like, I didn't want to coerce people into abstinence stuff, and I think what's really important, that I want to kind of stress, is that when we engage with someone, that recovery is a journey. Yep. And sometimes you'll work with someone that wants to maybe stop crack and heroin, but they want to carry on drinking and smoking. Yeah. And then as they move further down the journey, they kind of go, okay, well, I want to stop everything now and go to abstinence. And the case I always bring to this scenario was a case study of a black businessman in South Africa that was a gambler. Yep. And I wanted to, he wanted coaching. I got a phone call, please, can you come and see me? So, and I kind of heard he was an executive. And so straight away it was like, oh, am I not good enough? Yeah. And I just come back from India. So I was in flip-flops and little baggy shorts and a t-shirt, and I met this guy in a restaurant in a shopping mall, and I just explained what coaching was and all this sort of stuff. And he told me, he was very explicit, he said, yeah, I want to stop gambling, but whatever you do, don't tell my wife. And I was like, oh, okay, that kind of caught me. And then the second session we met. So the most important outcome of the first session is to get the person to come back for a second session. So no matter what happens, when you're working and building rapport, people need to come back. Because if you lose people at the first session, what's the fucking point? Yeah. So anyway, came back for the second session, and I just come back from working in a bank. So I was wearing a suit, and I walked in thinking, okay, well, now he's really going to see I'm professional and I know what I'm talking about. And the first thing he said to me is, I don't trust you. Yeah, because he's got white men in suits showing up every day trying to sell him shit. Yeah. So then I kind of realized this guy's got some trust issues underneath all of this. Like, I'm not allowed to talk to his wife, and he doesn't trust kind of professional, like, what's my motive? What's my agenda? So we started to explore what he wanted out of coaching, and we contracted for 6 sessions at a price. I can't remember what the price was. So it was paid coaching. And he decided he wanted to do controlled gambling. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, fuck, controlled gambling, you're fooling yourself. But okay, let's look at that. Let's come up with, you want a budget and what's going to happen. And we spoke about strategies for him to do controlled gambling. And he went off to do his homework. And guess what happened at the 3rd session? Andrew Bally, what do you think happened at the 3rd session when I met him?
He never stuck to his boundaries or guidelines, and things had gone wrong significantly.
Andrew, what do you think?
Either that or he changed his mind and wanted to stop completely.
He won.
He won.
He came back and he won, and I just thought, oh fuck. Okay. So my assumptions were kind of blown out the water. Yep. And then what happened is, in the between sessions, his wife phoned up the social worker at the clinic and then said, what is David doing? He's telling my husband he can gamble. Yep. Which isn't what I was doing. And then the wife and the relationship behavior started to come into the relationship and understand and undermine what was happening within the coaching relationship. Yeah. So I really had to respect what was going on and to take a look at this systemically. And then at the 4th session, we spoke about it, and it turned out, yep, the reason he was gambling, yep, is he liked to go, and he worked this out himself. He'd like to go to this casino to play this special machine, which was called the Geisha Girls, and he hated going home to his marriage. So his gambling had nothing to do whether he won or lost. He just wanted to be at this machine. Yeah. So then we started to explore other things that he could do with his time. And then at the 5th session, he came to me and his words were, David, you fucking tricked me into going to those meetings. And he started to go to GA. Yep, Gamblers Anonymous, a 12-step program. So in the beginning, that wasn't even on the table. And as we progressed in the relationship, his concept of what he wanted out of the coaching engagement changed. Yep. And then in the 6th session, we finished off, and he went off and lived his life. Yeah. And he actually went off to go and become a director of SAB, which is South African Breweries, and Kagiso Sun, which is a great big gambling industry. Yep. So his own personal challenges, he was then able to go off. I just found it quite ironic. Yep. And he's happy with me telling this story because he was a friend of the trust in South Africa, but it's a great case study, and the reason I like to talk about it is it takes us away from the alcohol and drugs and whether people can successfully use or not. Yep. So if we talk about gambling, and maybe this is my own projection, it feels a bit different to the alcohol's a drug. No, it isn't. You can't smoke. Yeah, this is kind of gambling. And then what I like about it is the gambling was actually just something to cover up the relationship stuff, and and his role in the world as kind of being a black businessman in a very economically challenged country, and all this sort of stuff. So it's really about building trust, rapport, managing my own anxiety around this, of what I was thinking recovery should be like, protecting his mine and his relationship from the systemic challenges. Yeah, working with the social worker of the family as well, and just kind of saying, this is what's going on and why we're not doing it. And it's also a success story. Today, I don't know, maybe tomorrow he's at the horses or something. So that's an important case study where you can talk about building rapport. What is the agenda? What does a person want from coaching? And as the relationship continues, as a coaching engagement continues, how things might change. Cool. So let's open it up. What did you learn from that? Any questions, any answers? Was that helpful? That's another yes/no question.
Definitely helpful. Great. It's a great case study. It's really interesting. And I like the fact that that it was not chemicals based. My dad was a gambler, so it was quite profound for me,
Oh, okay. So it hit home straight away.
Well, I mean, as soon as you said the word, I think there were 8 of us, 8 kids and our parents, and I mean, honestly, they stayed together, Greek Cypriot, second generation immigrants in England. But I mean, I think there was no way that my mum would have stayed with him if he hadn't sometimes brought the money home, because it was just a completely incompatible relationship. Anyway, the point is that his gambling nearly wrecked us completely, and I think what was important about this is like the acknowledgement that your story is that things can change and they take time. I mean, things happen in stages rather than in bolts from heaven, shall we say.
Great. Andrew, you want to say something?
Yeah, I liked it when you said about him saying that you tricked him. It was just like, it summed up the coaching perfectly. He just kind of, he had the answers somewhere. You mentioned earlier about not giving all the answers, and that trying to sort of coach it out of them. And in some ways it can seem like you're just sort of tricking I'm guessing you said it quite lightheartedly, but it was like that process can sometimes, it just makes me smile to sort of think that the answer's always in there somewhere, but it feels like there's a process that gets there which people don't necessarily trust at times or don't think it's going to work. But it's good to hear it did.
Thank you. And it was also like he loved opera. Yeah, just talking about the other things that that gave him passion, and like that he was passionate about. Sometimes just talking about the problem all the time just exacerbates the problem. But you also need to be quite clear that, listen, you've come to me because you had a problem. Yeah, and I think sometimes and this is a complete judgment, but sometimes in the therapeutic relationship, therapists that don't have lived experience can not address the problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can't just switch off a button or hand them a pill to take or something to calm it down. You're working at what is actually the root of the problem. Yeah.
And sometimes just telling people, listen, mate, you're fucked. Sort your shit out.
Tell myself that daily, David.
I told someone in the group the other day, he was talking for ages, and he said that he's not addicted to anything. And I was like, well, I don't need to be here then, do I? Shall I just leave? Because if you're not addicted to anything, what's the purpose of this conversation? And he was like,
Good.
oh. I was just like, well, what? Of course you are. Like, you're in your bedroom with all the blinds closed, your door's shut, afraid to open the door, and you're not working. So it's just comical. Yeah. It
Okay,
was,
well, good for you. That's a nice confrontation in a way that, okay, well, if there's no problem,
yeah,
then
I'm
why am
out.
I here? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite, yeah, it was good. He didn't like it, but it was funny.
But I'm sure he appreciated it on some level.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a courageous statement.
I think next week he'll probably think about it all week and then he'll come back and apologize to me on Tuesday.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Okay.
From personal experience, like some of the things that were said to me when I was in the rooms, I would never have taken from a doctor or a psychologist because you just don't perceive them when you're sat in a room in an appointment. You don't perceive this person who's suited and booted with a clipboard. Your first impression is that they've made it in life. They was able to go to school, they turn up for work, they're able to help me. But whereas someone that's been through the problem, you can't kid a kidder. So you respect that opinion more. And I suppose that brings that relatability and that human connection again. It's like, okay, this person knows what it's like to be sat in the deepest, darkest depths of himself or themselves. So yeah, I find it's that human connection. It has to start with a true, authentic human connection. Otherwise, it's pointless.
Mm.
But it takes time to build that as well. Like that doesn't just come from the first session or second session.
Mm.
I just want to acknowledge the humanity for people that do work in this profession that have to manage those boundaries because there is a human behind there. Yep, and I promise you their shit stinks the same as us. But it's just not bought into the space.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it creates a projection where people think, oh, my therapist or clinician has got this sussed. And sometimes when the patient finds out that isn't the case, then that can impact the relationship. But thank God this is coaching. So you start off by saying, fuck, I don't know what you're going to do, but let me work this stuff out with you. You used to do drugs or you do drugs? Well, that's fine. I haven't, but let's try and work this out. Do you want me to go and smoke crack so I can help you? Or do you think I can help you in spite of that? And then see what's going to work for the client. Because sometimes people say you have to be one to know one. Yep. And sometimes, I actually prefer being coached by people that haven't got a history of recovery because I get more out of their lived experience of not doing that stuff. Does that make sense? And those of you that come from kind of 12-step background, there's a lot of tradition and historical stuff that is still there, but the world has moved on. So, for example, in the preamble of the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel, and I think that was written in the 60s, which is like 60 years ago. Yep, and I'm sure in the US that was true. Because of the stigma and all that sort of stuff. But it's not like that anymore. And it's still the same. Just to give you another example, people who come to me and say, I want coach on my relationship. And then I'll say, well, fuck, well, don't ask me. I've got 3 ex-wives. I'm the last person to talk to about having a relationship. And then people usually smile like Marcus and Andrew and Olivia did. And then that builds rapport. And then people then feel, Oh, fuck. Okay, well, let me talk about my problems because this fuck up's not going to judge me. I turned up the volume there a bit for effect. All right. What else are we learning from the case study or from this morning?
I think one thing I want to pick up on, because it's something I'm feeling and I've heard others echo it in the room, is finding that courage to step forward and start whatever venture it is, whether it's just a training course, if it's like a full-blown organization. So I guess that comes from coaching in these environments.
Okay.
But how else do other people tap into that courage? I'm not someone that was brought up with a strong work ethic, so it doesn't come naturally. I kind of have to, I find it hard to pluck that courage out of thin air. Just putting that to the room, the container, whatever you call it.
Well,
Let someone find their courage from.
What does the word courage mean for you?
I suppose it's being feeling competent, which then which leads on to confidence, and then you can take action.
Okay.
So it's feeling competent, and I guess that's why we're all here doing a course so that we can get a qualification, so that we can feel competent. What you're saying is we are competent. We've already got that lived experience. We don't necessarily need a certificate. So I think there's been quite limiting beliefs and maybe
So
the way that
if I was to give you a certificate now and say, all right, Marcus, I think you're good to go, and you had that piece of paper, how would that change?
I guess through my conditioning, I'm going to question the piece of paper and think, is it part of a registered body? Is this going to be accepted by other people? So it's that kind of thing.
I can say, I know it reminds me a bit like, and I'm going back to a 12-step fellowship when I first got through my steps and I was petrified about the next stage, which was getting a sponsee, of like not believing in myself. It reminds me a bit like that. And I feel a bit like this with recovery coaching. So I'm on board, Marcus. But I just think we've just it's just about persistence and just keep getting uncomfortable and it'll just happen. Mm.
So, do you have courage when you feel confident?
I guess so. Yeah.
Because if I feel confident about something, I don't necessarily need to be courageous. I think I need to be courageous when I don't have confidence. It's like, fuck, I'm going into to battle. Fuck, I hope I win. And then I need to pluck up the courage to do something. So let's say you fuck things up completely. What will happen? What will be the worst that could happen?
Well, the worst that could happen is that I take on a client and they go and kill themselves. That would be a complete failure. That would be a service failure. And that's kind of what drives me to want to do what I want to do in the first place, is because that happens in traditional services.
Yep, people
So
kill themselves.
that would be like, okay, I fucked up there. But that's not necessarily all down to me. It's not my input to that. There'd be other factors, but yeah, that would be the worst outcome, that all those efforts sort of went to pot.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you another story, if I may, yeah, of personal experience. So I grew up in a violent alcoholic home, and my dad's was a chronic alcoholic, and he, yeah, I'd, I was deeply impacted by that, and so was my family. Yeah, my sisters. And I opened up a rehab, and I built this rehab, and we've had, I don't know, 5,000 people go through. Yeah, over 25 years, if not more, with the outpatient programs and that sort of stuff. And the amount of deaths, it's most probably a bit more now, but there were about 50. Yeah, where people have actually gone off and killed themselves. Yeah, touch wood, nobody's ever died in treatment because it's run like a hospital, and there's all sorts of professional things. But my nephew had to come into treatment. Yep, and we broke the rules because he'd been to all sorts of other places. Yep, and out of desperation. And my dad had been to all sorts of other places too, and he also spent a time in our treatment center, which I owned. So there was a blurring of the boundaries. Yep, here's the boss, and here's a boss's dad, and here's a boss's nephew. And we're also very desperate about it. And I will tell people, there's a lot of fucking fear about people dying. Yeah, but most people actually don't die. Recovery's a process, and they find it somewhere. Yep, and out of 5,000 people, if 50 died, that means we're a 99% success rate. But the fuck up is if two of those members were your family members, like my nephew hung himself, and 6 months later, my dad drank himself to death. And that was 4 years ago, 2 days ago. Yeah. And when my nephew came into rehab over COVID, he started mixing drinks inside the facility using hand sanitizer. So we had to discharge him. So the facility couldn't contain him. And he went round and all over the place. And that had a huge impact on us as a family, me personally, my sister, the staff, because and it was a proper fuck up. And yeah, I get sad the more I talk about this story, because the more it kind of comes up. And but my motive for telling this story, Marcus, is people fucking die. And when people do die, you sit down, yep, with a team of people and see what could we have done better and what were the choices we made at the time. Yep. And what's the legal requirements and everything. And the point of coaching, recovery coaching in a professional way, you're going to be working with a bunch of other people and professionals, and you'll know where your role is. Yep. So if you're coaching people specifically in the suicide space, yep, that you're going to have to, or you most probably have, a different skill set to support that. Does that make sense? Yeah. And to make use of those systems around you. Yep. And just for the gamblers here, yep. My dad was chronic alcoholic, and but he was very influential in the gambling industry. He set up the National Responsible Gambling Program in South Africa, which then got kind of exported here to the UK, and he was very involved in setting up, getting industry to support gambling harm, payment for gambling harm, and setting up the levy. And he always said one thing. He says with because he presented to the House of Lords back in 2006, I think it was. So I mean, he was a proper fucking bloke in the industry, and he said, I got it 100% right in what needs to happen, and he got it 100% wrong in delivering of it. Yep. And the gambling industry in itself is going through these kind of challenges. A whole lot of hoo-ha about, accepting money from industry and what they call Gamble Aware is closing down now, and the levy is going into NHS. You're going to have to remind me of this sort of stuff, which is kind of now going to be so the funding and all that stuff to help people, where lived experience has been kind of getting more attention, is going to impact things. It's making sense. You're yeah. So, where am I? I've gotten a bit lost in my story. But it's fucking painful to lose family members to this, And with all my wisdom and everything I know, I've been deeply impacted personally as well with this stuff, And so I feel sad. I feel very sad about this. And I also feel a bit inadequate professionally, because I've needed to put my own hand up and said, fuck, I'm fucked here. I need some time out. And so thank you for today's container and holding me that I can actually just come and just fucking put this out there. But Marcus, the world is going to be a much better place if you fucking get courageous and just go, fuck it, I'm doing this. If you got some clarity and accountability, and I'll fucking back you, mate. You seem like a fucking good bloke that wants to do something that's been hurt, and wants to stop other people from being hurt in the same way. And I think there's a lot of fucking value there. And is there anyone in this container that would disagree with me? I mean, my sense is this container would support you too, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd want to say, I've worked previously in a different for a different charity, which it was again supporting people with barriers, Marcus, and it was supporting people who were leaving prison back into employment. So I spent 3 years building a charity from a pilot project to a fully grown sort of cycle of us doing it. And I think the one thing I used to say to my team was that that world that we worked in came with 80% disappointment and 20% success. And that was just the nature of because of the people that we worked with. But I think what was really important was we really had to make sure that we celebrated that 20% of success, because otherwise that we used to get bashing after bashing after bashing, and people going back to prison, getting recalled, or going committing crimes again and getting long sentences. People that we'd worked with for a long time. So I think if we focus too much on that, then it wouldn't give you the energy and the power to and the courageousness to do the job. So I think it's a similar thing. You need to kind of cling on to the good that you're going to be doing and use that to kind of fuel your energy and fuel your fire to keep doing it.
Thank you.
Bally's arrived in the container. Welcome, mate. Fucking great. Sorry, Marcus, did you want to say something?
No, thank you for that. That's really helpful. I guess one thing that's kind of, I guess, one of my deal breakers is making people statistics, and allowing their service to become complacent, in the sense that, oh, well, he's just too difficult, we can't deal with him, we'll refer him on. And that's their duty met. They've ticked the box, they've referred them on, it's not their problem. And that needs to stop. We need to somehow find a way of bringing people into that fold, and stop bouncing them around. So it's not a case of the service is wrong, it's the person the people that you're employing in that service aren't obviously haven't got the right skill set or background or experience to work with these people. It's a hard world. I get that. The world's it's a cruel world. But I guess someone's got to hold hope and keep pushing forward for the future. And I think they picked me, unfortunately, to make a dent in that.
And what drives that, Marcus?
Just unapologetically acknowledging that I'm a human, and that I live on this planet with humans, and the reason we're in this situation is because of humans, the way that we organize, and the systems that are built around us. But when it comes down to the crunch, these systems are built on monetary value, which then reduces people to statistics and financial amounts. So it just doesn't make sense in my head. We're human. Everything we need for life is here on this planet. It just seems to get controlled and gate kept and decided who gets what when, who deserves what when, when in reality we all deserve an equal chance. So it's very deep. It's very important to me. I'm quite passionate about it. I come from an activist sort of background as well, so that's kind of what gives me
Nah,
my
really?
the
Really?
alarm
Fuck, I could never tell.
the alarmist kind of point of view, and I get that can be depressing sometimes, but it's facts, just as my sponsor told me that I'm a fucking addict and I need to accept that. We need to accept as a species that we're getting it wrong quite largely in certain places. So yeah.
So the thing that drove me in starting the clinic and doing all sorts of things is there's a little boy in me that just wanted to sober up his dad. And there was a huge trauma inside of me that hadn't been kind of worked on and would leak out in my role within the organization. And so that kind of codependent, wounded part of myself wasn't healthy for me. It wasn't healthy for the patients when people were patients. It wasn't helpful for the staff. It performed in some sort of way, but it wasn't sustainable. Yep. And then after kind of 12 years of running the place, or 15 years, we had to take it. I had to step back and take a different approach to bring in a multidisciplinary team and all that sort of stuff, because my wounding was leaking in. Yeah. And besides, I just want to go and cure the world of addiction now because everyone else has got a fucking drunken dad. You know. So, and that's what about getting professional around this is, because I also found people would ask me to sponsor them, but they actually wanted business coaching or executive coaching or recovery coaching, and they just didn't want to fucking pay for it. Yep. And I didn't know how to say, well, no, fuck off. You want coaching, pay for it. You want sponsorship. So a lot of my things is just trying to get clear around the boundaries and where this role is. So I'm here today to coach and train a skill set of recovery coaching. How's today's class going? Dorette, how's today's container going? You've been around a while?
Today's container is very interesting. I think we learn the most about listening to each other, to each other's experiences. And the path of recovery is for everyone different, and it's full of good and bad surprises. Yeah.
Wonderful. Andrew, how's the container been for you this morning?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for sharing, David, because that was a big thing to share, and I think it's hopefully had a big impact and helped a lot of people. It's kind of hit home for me as well. You can't help everybody, can you? And it's trying to do the best you can, and like I said, focus on the success stories, but learn from the ones that aren't maybe successful as well. So yeah, it's been great. Cheers, man.
So me sharing my lived experience there, was that help? How was that helpful for you as a learner?
Obviously, in the position you're in, the professional experience that you got over so many years, it's like these things you can't. Things are going to happen that are out of your control, no matter how experienced you are, how trained you are. And it just highlights that however far you go of it, these things are always going to happen at some point, and it's just trying to learn from it really and accept it and try to deal with it in the best way possible.
Thanks. Olivia?
Yeah, thanks for sharing all that, David. Yeah, I feel a bit worn out at the moment. I think that early walk done me. But I was just like, oh. No, it's been a good session today. It's kind of the more sessions they're getting more informative as we go along. I'm over 20 weeks now, I think. I was going to ask you, can you check and see how many I've actually done and let me know? I can remember sending an email in September sometime. So it was around about September when I started. So that'd be interesting. And
So
about
just
supervision as well. Who can I get to do that with me?
Tia,
Okay.
you would have met Tia on the training.
Yeah, I've got
And
a number.
yeah, and the idea of the training and the certification is at certain points we can say this is what the person's done, this is the theory, this is that they are good to practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you go out in the world and you practice the art of recovery coaching, it's like I'm here now practicing. Yeah, I've got a framework, some tools, but I'm like an artist. I'm practicing this. And Olivia, so it's great that you're still coming and that you've met the requirements, and as you learn more, you'll realize how much you didn't know at the beginning when you came in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So great. Bali, how are you finding it?
Good. Yeah, like I said earlier, first one, so wasn't sure what to expect, but now that I've got the first one under the belt, but it's been good. It's been good. It's always good to kind of hear other people's perspectives and insights, regardless of whatever their background's been. And it's kind of using the bits that work for you to implement that into your life. But yeah, but otherwise, good. Enjoyed it. Thank
So
you.
just in terms of your organization,
Mhm.
Epic Restart as an organization is a Mauni accredited organization. So all you need to do is rock up to these classes and
Mhm.
complete the online self-study
Yep.
and the practice hours here,
Okay.
because the systems around you, you know how to onboard clients to track
Yep.
their progress. You've got safeguarding
Yep.
policies. You've got all that
Yep.
stuff in place.
Yep.
But people like Marlon, Marcus, Olivia, Dorette, and Paresh
Mhm.
are doing
Okay.
their own things at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those requirements you don't need to do. You and Andrew
Sure.
don't need to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Right. Mark, been for you.
Yeah, less grounded than what I was in the beginning. There's lots of information, and it's yeah, really interesting to hear where everyone else is coming from. That what's driving them to do what they want to do, and just hearing some of the stories that I've heard since I came on Tuesday, just how open people are in sharing their experiences. So I just thank everyone that's shared something that's personal to them, that means something to them, because it kind of gives meaning to everything that I'm trying to do. It speaks to the same sort of thing. So yeah. And yeah, it's a good thing to be a part of. And I'm glad I found you guys. shall I tag someone else or?
Andrea?
Yeah, and excuse me. Wow, I've been deeply moved. And I'm thinking that, I mean, it seems that if there is a God, they gave me a very political kind of bent in life. I mean, I see injustice and I can't not do something. So I'm thinking like it would be a real challenge for me, especially at this point in my life, to, sit down, fundraise for this, get on with it, do it seriously, get the qualification. I did get qualifications of counselling back in the day, but not coaching. When the world is in this state, as we all know, it is not exactly perfect at the moment. How shall I say? So I'm going to have a really good think. But I've been really deeply moved listening, and wow. Sorry, lost my words. But yeah, thank you.
Great. Thanks. So everyone, just so you know, in the chat, I've just put the link to the school platform, which was started up the other day. And Marcus has been very active there with me, which has been very helpful. So just register for that as well, and the content's there as well. And we're going to use that to help build community. So you'll still have the online self-study to do on the Teachable platform, but this is more interactive as well. Okay. Marlon, how was today for you? How are your teeth, by the way?
Yeah, I wanted to apologise. Thank you for your vulnerability, David, and what you was talking about. I went to my bag to get some medication for my mouth because it's throbbing. So I moved when you was talking, which was a bit rude. Didn't sit right with me, but I did it. It was very
Sorry,
insightful.
say that again. You broke up there. I lost
did
you.
I? No, I apologise for when you was talking. I went to get some medication for my tooth. When you was
Relax, for fuck's sakes.
yeah.
Jesus, relax.
Thank you for your vulnerability and your experience. I mean, it's nice to hear everyone's previous experience of their past. It's very helpful. I've picked up. What I'm seeing to gain from this in a coaching perspective is the language that you speak compared, because you spoke about the lines being blurred between therapy, counseling, sponsorship, and I'm picking up on language that'll help me, because instead of me being really narrow-minded and having that 12-step approach and talking to people like they're a 12-stepper or they're going to be a 12-stepper, it's making me be more open-minded and not like labeling in a sense, so that's what I got from it. And just the fact that everyone else is just one big mirror on here, like what people are talking about is stuff that I'm actually thinking about and wanting to talk about. So it's very helpful. And then hearing their perspective on it and hearing people's paths about which direction they want to go in, I think it's really, really, really interesting. Yeah.
Wonderful. Paresh, welcome and thank you for joining us in the second hour. I hope it was helpful.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. This is my second session, so I think it was fair to say it's very different to the one that we had on Tuesday. I found it a bit more informative, helpful and a bit more kind of focused on the coaching side and around advice and the personal stories. So thanks. It was good.
Great. All right, everyone. So sign up to school if you want to. I'd love to see you there. Yeah, see you next week. And those of you that are part of LEROs that are doing the systemic wellness, I'll see you this afternoon. That might be Andrew and Bally. Yeah.
Be
Cool.
there, mate.
All right, everyone. I check out with joy. Dorette, quick, one word checkout.
Compassion.
Andrew,
Grateful.
Marcus,
Empowered.
Paresh,
Informed.
Marlon,
Motivated.
Andrea,
Encouraged.
Bally,
Energized.
Olivia.
Brave.
Oh fuck! I've done my job. All right. See you later. Go do well. Go do well. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.